Hey, this is Forrest again. In this video, I want to do a little bit of what I like to call comparative shopping, right? So there's usually people that start in the trucking world, they will lease on. And so what's the difference, right? When you hear somebody say, and this is mostly for new people because, people that have been around in the trucking business for a while, they know the differences. So you can be a lease on driver or you can be a lease on owner operator. And sometimes you can be a lease on owner operator that leases the trailer from the company that you're a lease on owner operator. So there's several different ways to do it. So what's better, to be a lease on driver or lease on owner operator, or to go out and get your own MC or just DOT if you're going to stay within your state? What's the better way to go? Well, from an investment standpoint, there's far less investment being a lease on driver, and even there's a little bit more investment if you're going to be a lease on owner operator, because of course you have the truck and truck payments that go along with it, and you maybe own the trailer too, and maybe a trailer payment goes along with that. The difference really comes in is how much you're going to make as a lease on driver. So the company is supplying the truck and trailer, you're pretty much making the minimal amount in trucking because the company's taking on all the risk. They're supplying your insurance, your truck, your trailer, and in a lot of cases, like that, they even will give you a fuel card and everything else. So you're being paid to drive the truck. Okay, it doesn't make that much money. Now, if you're an owner operator where you own the truck and you own the trailer, the company then doesn't have the maintenance expense. And a lot of times when they do that, they don't have the fuel expense, and they're going to pay you a far greater amount of money, a far greater amount of money. And the thing is, then you're in control of it as well, right? So do the maintenance on your truck so it doesn't cost you any money for big repairs, doesn't cost you downtime, which is really worse than the repairs. And then you can also drive the truck in the way you want to drive it to save fuel because you're paying the fuel cost out. And there's lots of things you can do to lower your cost when you're an owner operator, a lease on owner operator. And of course, if you own the trailer, that's another thing too. So if you're a lease on owner operator and you lease their trailer, well, you have to do that. Maybe you couldn't afford it. But if you have the truck and the trailer and you're a lease on owner operator, that's about where the maximum amount of money you can make in the trucking world until you want to get your own MC. And that really should be the goal, right? The goal should be to get your own MC so you can go interstate. Now, I know we get back to the argument of, just intrastate versus interstate and how much you make. I'm going to tell you right now, boys and girls, interstate's the way to go. I mean, especially in the business that we're in, which is the car hauling business, interstate's the only way to go. If you try to run around Florida and make money, I mean, yeah, you can put a couple of dollars in the bank from a driver standpoint. A driver just staying in Florida can make $45,000 a year. They play their cards right, and that's if they're an owner operator that owns the trailer outright and they own the truck outright. They can make $50,000 a year. So if you're an owner operator and you don't own the trailer and you don't own the truck, now this is hotshotters I'm talking about. You're gonna make less money because you got these other expenses. But I can tell you, you need to interstate. So if you're going to go and decide to do something yourself, don't go to interstate. Don't even bother. It doesn't cost that much more to go to interstate. There's some more regulations, and we can go back to a prior video that I did talking about hiring yourself a compliance officer, which is really what you need. But if you hire a compliance officer, go with the MC, then you can go pretty much anywhere and make the money you want to make. And that kind of brings us to another thing too. If you're trying to get home every night and stuff, that's going to play a big part of there. If you're going to be in trucking and you want to maximize the amount of money you make, don't try to be home every night. That's just ridiculous. So the differences between being the lease on drivers has a lot less control over what they do. They have a lot less control. The company's going to tell them what to do, and by God, they'll do it, or they'll lose the truck, trailer, and their job. Whereas an owner operator that owns the truck and the trailer, they can go anywhere. So if they feel the rub is wrong with a certain company, they can always be an owner operator, lease on owner operator with somebody else. But the person that has the most leeway, but the most risk, is the person that owns their own DOT or MC number. And of course, they're putting out all the money, but they're also making all the return from that investment. So those are the three ways you can do it. I can tell you that what you really should do is you sign on, give yourself to experience what you're doing. Sign on as an owner driver first if you want to, experience it, see if you like it, go out and get your own truck, continue as an owner operator till you learn the back end of it, which is some of the office work, the folders, the forms and everything you have to fill out and how to dispatch and all that kind of stuff. When you learn the back end of it, now then go out and get your MC or your DOT. So it's 1, 2, 3. Crawl, walk, run. And that's exactly how it works. Thank you for watching.